My name is Mike James. Nice to meet you on another edition of The Benchmark. Now, when we talk about development, it's clear that no single profession can do it all. Now, every successful project is a product of teamwork, precision, and shared expertise. Today on The Benchmark, we're focusing on surveyors and inter-industry collaboration. Now, you see, no city, not even a fast-growing one like Lagos, can thrive without teamwork. Surveyors, builders, engineers, and architects, they each play a vital role when it comes to development. But it's when they work together that true development happens. From defining boundaries to laying foundations and even bringing structures to life, collaboration ensures accuracy, safety, and sustainability. Now, when these professionals align their expertise, what do we get? Smarter, stronger, and more efficient projects. Because in the end, only great cities can be built by, combined efforts. Great cities aren't just built by skill. They're built by collaboration. Joining me in the studio this morning are two distinguished professionals. I've got Surveyor Agwu, Ogonna Roberts. Of course, he's no stranger to the microphone. One of our regular here. He's Publicity Secretary of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors of Nigeria, Lagos State Branch. Good morning, Surveyor Agwu, and good to have you on the show.
Good morning, Mike. It's good to be back again.
And also joining me is Bldr Chubike Okafor. Is a proud member of the Nigerian Institute of Building and the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria. Fantastic morning to you. Good to have you here.
Yes, same here.
And
good morning.
It's great seeing you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here.
So together, we'll be unpacking how, collaboration across industries can reduce conflict, enhance accuracy, and also drive excellence when it comes to project delivery. All right, so let's start with you, Surveyor Roberts. For those listening who might not fully understand the role of surveyors, how would you describe what a surveyor actually does on a project site to begin with?
Okay, so we always take pride in describing ourselves as the custodians of any meaningful development. Mm-hmm. So surveying is largely described as the foundation for any meaningful and sustainable development. And by sustainability, we mean any development that is able to be sustained over time, that is able to, stand the test of time. Mm. But I would like to read out a definition which the Federation of International Surveyors have put out as who a surveyor is. Mm. So according to the International Federation of Surveyors, a surveyor is a professional with the academic qualifications and technical expertise to measure and represent land, three-dimensional objects, and point fields. Mm. Now, I will also want to add another clause to that definition as described by the Surveyors Council of Nigeria. That It's not enough to have the academic qualifications, it's not to have the expertise.
So it goes beyond that.
You must have the professional registration for you to be described and be addressed as a surveyor.
Professional registration.
Yes.
So that means you have to belong to the association?
Yes, not just belonging to the Nigerian Institution of Surveyors. Your name must be enlisted and entered into the register of the Surveyors Council of Nigeria. So the register of the Surveyors Council of Nigeria has 4 sections. There's a section for surveyors, there's a section for pupil surveyors, there's a section for technologists, and there's a section for technicians. For you to be addressed as a surveyor, your name must be entered into the surveyors column of the register. So
are there criteria to be met before your name can get into that column?
Yes, of course. So you must have gone through the academic rigors, either through the polytechnic system of education or through the university system of education.
Okay.
And then you must have written the final qualification exam of the Surveyors Council of Nigeria and passed that exam and also defended your projects, and then you can now be enlisted as a surveyor.
What about years of experience? Is it required?
Yes, of course. For you to sit for the final exam, you must have gone through 2 years post qualification experience, which we refer to as pupillage. Yes, you must have gone through your pupillage program, which is a 2-year program post-qualification.
All right, Surveyor, so let's head back to the site now. How would you describe what a surveyor actually does on a project site in the first place?
Okay, so I would like to describe in layman's terms that what a surveyor does on a project is giving the project meaning. So what the surveyor does is trying to, give direction to the project. So before the architects even conceptualize what is to be built, they need to know the size of the space available.
Okay.
Because you can't design without having the size that you have at your disposal. It's just like designing maybe a 3-bedroom apartment when what you have can only accommodate a 1-bedroom apartment.
Okay.
So what the surveyor does is he gives you a precise information as to the size of your land parcel available. Then he also gives you additional information that borders on the undulating terrain, because no surface on the earth is truly flat, as we think, as we want to assume. Yes, the earth is not a flat surface. The earth is actually a geoid, and by being a geoid, it means that it has so many irregular undulations on an apparently flat surface. So the surveyor gives you that information, and then with that information, the architects and the civil engineers can come up with their designs and then pass it on to the builders who come in to build, and then all the other professionals, the quantity surveyors who cost materials, the estate surveyor who also does some valuation on that property when it's completed, and even on the land as well.
And speaking about builders, let me connect to Bldr Okafor. Good morning. Good to have you once again.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so from the builder's angle, Bldr Okafor, how important is that data and groundwork the surveyors provide before you even start or begin construction? How important is that data, that information the surveyors pass on to you?
Well, actually, the information generated by the surveyor is passed on to the design team, which use this data to actually formulate and craft out the design.
Please move closer to the mic.
Yeah. So the surveyors actually, we use this data, surveyors data. The design team utilizes that, and from that information, they then craft out the design of the structure, which we as builders implement on site. And so it's the surveyors are critical, highly critical, because we have a lot of things that it's not enough to just put up a structure. Now, how does this structure interface with the environment? How does this structure interface with the challenges that come with the environment? We've heard about climate change.
Right.
We have different soil structures. We've heard about drainage, flooding. These factors have to be considered before the conceptualization of any project. And the surveyors are the first people on ground to give the vital information that we as a design team and construction team, and not just the builders, but the entire design team fully relies on that information.
So is it important for the surveyor to have an idea of the kind of development that would be, or the type of building or development that will be made on that land before they commence?
Well, it's a yes and no thing, because it's not like the type of design that is coming on the property. It's not as if that information is going to affect the accuracy. You should, or rather, let me not talk about accuracy yet. It's not as if it's going to determine if the cadastral survey is needed or not. Okay. So a cadastral survey and a perimeter survey, which is a form of perimeter survey, is needed irrespective of what you intend to put up. Okay. But now, the type of structure you want to put up, because different designs come with different levels of accuracy and precision. Absolutely. In terms of implementation. So this will also guide the surveyor in the degree of accuracy to implement, even though every surveyor is expected to deliver on his job with the highest level of accuracy and precision. So it's still important for the surveyor to know. Yes, it's important that he knows what you intend to build, but even though it's not all too important. Yes, but all right, Bldr Okafor. Now we hear the term inter-industry collaboration a lot. Yes. In simple terms, I'd like you to, talk to my listeners. What does it mean in the context of Nigeria's built environment?
Well, like I initially stated, right, we in the construction industry, we have the design team and we have the construction team. The builders are actually involved on both sides. Okay. And when I say both sides, at the design phase, we come up with what we call the builder's documents. Okay, I'm afraid I'm going to have to hold you on here. So, we lost the connection. All right, Sadiq Yusuf, I'd love to have you call back so we can get that report from you. But please go on. All right, so on the design phase, we have what we call the building production documents, which are generated by the builders. And you see, I say one thing. no one is more important than the other.
Let me
in
hold you on,
teamwork.
Bldr Okafor. Sadiq,
good morning.
yes, good morning. Good to have you connected with us, Sadiq.
Okay, this is Sadiq Yusuf. Just to update you concerning the impediment at motorways from broken down normal compactor truck that has been causing this movement on this road. That right now the truck has been taken to a lay-by on the road, and now the road is accessible for regular flow. Although the backlog has gotten beyond ambulance and emergency points as I speak,
Wow.
but traffic managers are also spread out at every stop point just to ensure that motorists have it easier to navigate through this end. So that is the objective.
All right, thank you so much, Sadiq. I appreciate. All right, so that's the latest regarding the broken down PSP compactor, which had a mechanical fault just a few meters after motorways bus stop in Wodalakbere, which was affecting vehicular movement, and traffic, I understand, has backed up to emergency point, but it has been managed to a side of the road, and there's a thoroughfare. The road is now fully open for motorists to make use of. All right, but backlog still prevalent. We have it at emergency points, but traffic managers very much on ground doing the needful. And to the Ojodobeja bound travelers, what do we have? Good movement right from Otedola towards Newgara, but it's a slow moving one connecting Kara Bridge, and then it gets better right after Kara towards Opik. The return journey looks pretty good from Opik towards Otedola. All right, so be on the lookout, Lagos. Okay, so we have this one that says men of Light Up Lagos working at the loop right in front of Green Spring School by Anthony in Wards Ikorodu Road. Anthony UK to be precise, and this is affecting vehicular movement, especially from LASMA headquarters for now, but all hands are on deck to ensure that things are done speedily. All right, so back to the conversation. I've got two great minds in the studio. I have Surveyor Ogonna Agwu Robert, Publicity Secretary of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors, Lagos State Branch, and Bldr Chubike Okafor, of course, is a proud member of the Nigerian Institute of Building and the Council of Registered Builders of Nigeria. So we're looking at inter-agency collaboration. So Bldr Okafor, sorry I had to cut you there so we could take that report. So, but let's go on.
So collaboration is mandatory in the built environment because we're talking about various agencies and professionals that have specialized training and experience that you can't do without. We're all interwoven. We're all interconnected. We feed off each other's skills and our designs. The architect comes up with the conception.
Okay.
And the engineers come up with the framework that on which that conception can stand, and then the builders bring it into reality. So just by saying that, you can see that it's impossible to thrive without collaboration. No project, can actually succeed without collaboration. So I believe strongly in teamwork, and is the entire construction industry is based on teamwork. So like I said, we have the design phase, we have the construction phase, and then we already have the inputs of the architects, we have the inputs of the various engineers, we have the inputs of the surveyors, we have the inputs of the planners, because when you talk about urban development, there has to be a plan, there has to be a framework. Certain structures should be in certain places, and we all collaborate by dispensing information, getting enough information from various specialists and professionals to come up with a unified response, and a unified action on how a project should be carried out. And of course, as a builder, we also get involved at the design phase. We get involved also in the construction phase because we have to come up with buildability analysis. It's not enough to have a design and you're not actually sure how those designs can interplay to reality. So the builders come in at the design phase with buildability analysis. They look into your quality management program. Because they apply the 5 M's of management, your method, manpower, materials, money, funds. So we actually have to make use of all this because we actually handle the building production management phase of the project. So our input is necessary at the design phase to carry out our buildability analysis, to check out our construction methodology.
As almost all through the whole.
So it's a whole
development.
Yes, it's a whole very rigorous, very robust and process. But
let me connect with Surveyor Robert. Have you experienced situations where poor collaboration between surveyors and builders, might have caused errors on a project? And what lessons came out of that, Surveyor Agwu?
Yes, it's something we see a lot. Amongst us surveyors, there's this thing we always say to console ourselves, that when a project is good, the engineers are the ones doing a good job, and then when the project fails, the surveyors did a bad job. But that's with special apologies to our engineers. So yes, over the years I've had experiences where the counsel of the surveyor was despised, and then the counsel of the surveyor was not giving the needed attention, and at the end of the day we had issues. Now, one that comes to mind always, which I still feel bad whenever I think about it, there was a project we were on and we gave advice on the DPC levels to adopt.
Okay, what kind of project is that?
Okay, so it was supposed to be a multi-purpose hall.
Okay.
Yes, what a large facility, and then we gave a specific advice as to the DPC level to be considered.
Okay,
and it was neglected because yes, it was going to cost more money because he needed to feel more, and then that advice was neglected and they adopted what they felt was okay. And then many years after, somewhere along the line, the engineer on the project advised that waterproof membrane should be used to be able to at least discontinue the hydraulic movement within the foundation. That was also seen as waste of money. And then less than a year after, there's been need to change the rugs, there's been need to change cables, there's been need to change so many things, and even to the point of the floor breaking at intervals and all that. So it's one, and I would even want to say that most of the times when you see buildings collapse, if you dig deep, you will see that there was no appropriate collaboration amongst all stakeholders.
So what lessons came out of that? What was learned?
Well, it's too late to cry when the head is already off. So the lessons that came out was that, well, next time we'll listen to you.
All right, so Bldr Okafor, in order to prevent, problems like this, issues like this, before they happen, on your own part, how can builders and surveyors, improve communication in order to avoid such mishaps?
Well, I will speak on a general level because I wouldn't want to say the challenge is an issue of communication, because I don't think the issue, as stated by Surveyor Agwu, was an issue of communication. It was more or less an issue on the economics of the project and finance, and it's quite unfair that we usually allow economic factors drive our projects. Because I believe strongly that what's worth doing is worth doing well. And when in the multitude of counsel, there is safety. So, and when you have a project that engages a whole lot of professionals, I think it's something that any client or any project manager should appreciate, So I think the issue is more or less not an issue of communication.
Was it funding?
It's an issue of we need to prioritize what is important.
Okay.
What is important as regards this project? What is the end game? Are we here to build sustainable projects, sustainable buildings? Sustainability is a key word. Are we just there to just complete projects or to build sustainable projects? And if we're here to build sustainable projects, the economics of that project shouldn't be the key factor in framing out that project. It should be, so the key factor there should be effective expertise should be communication, as stated. Economics should come last, because if I want to get, for example, if I want to get a 2025 model Mercedes-Benz, it comes with a price,
Right.
I shouldn't say that based on my economics, it should be within. No car dealer will listen to that. So I don't know why when it comes to the building sector or the built environment, that we are more or less like, I want this, but it should cost this. That shouldn't be the driver.
Okay.
The driver should be, I want this. What will it take for me to get it? And then how can I fashion out or plan my resources to achieve this goal? So I'll take it from that angle.
Okay, Survey Agwu, let's digress a little bit now. Let's talk about advanced technology now. How has this helped to improve, collaboration between surveyors, builders, and other professionals?
Technology has really impacted the built environment greatly, and for a lot of people who are afraid of AI, rendering them jobless, those of us in the built environment, the only people in the built environment that should be scared of AI are those who are not ready to adopt AI in their operations. Yes, but as long as you're willing to adopt technology, you will actually stand out in the built environment. So technological advancement has really been a plus for us, because turnaround times have been reduced. You can now deliver on projects faster and, more efficiently. For instance, if you're doing a high-rise building where you have to do structural monitoring on the go, as against what obtained in the past, where you have to station personnel and equipment on site, and then if you're going to station personnel on site, then you must make arrangement for security,
Absolutely.
and all that. You must make arrangement for logistics, for feeding and all that, and then you're even going to station an additional person, because at intervals the person needs to go maybe take a leak or go to the lavatory or take a bath or eat and all that. But there are improvements now technologically where you can monitor a building remotely. All you need to do is station your equipment there, and from the comfort of your office, you're getting real-time data on what is going on that project.
Wow. So someone is wondering, what kind of equipment does that?
Okay, so we have the differential GPS, we have robotic total stations, and then we have laser equipment that can help you monitor structural stability.
Remotely?
Yes, remotely. So you just station them there, and then you control them from the comfort of your home. And, you can tell when things are going wrong.
Quite amazing, I must say. Now, Surveyor Agwu, being the invisible backbone of the built environment, that's a compliment. Do you think surveyors get enough recognition for the role they play in project development?
In all sincerity, I don't think we get enough recognition.
Is it because your duty tends to be an invisible one, like we just stated?
Well,
or
is it really invisible? Because if a road is badly built, it's visible to the eyes. And once a road is badly built, you can tell that the survey component was not properly done. Or when you see a building that the survey components, dimension controls were ignored during construction, you can tell from the way the building is slanting, or from the way the windows are tilted in one direction. Or let me even give a common one. You build your house, you think the house is squared until you're laying your tiles. And then you get to the edge of the room, you now discover there's a triangle somewhere.
So is that the error of the surveyor or the builder?
No, when a surveyor is not okay, so that could happen for two reasons. Either the buildings were not properly set out, or the design was done based on the shape of the land. So if you have a land that is a trapezium, you can decide to, let me just design something to just fit in. I want to finish all the space.
So sometimes it could be deliberate.
Yes, it could be deliberate at times. But most times we have seen this to be construction errors, where you have lintels slanting and all that. Then by the time you're installing your windows and your doors, you're trying to fit in a door, a window, and it's skewed.
So which party do you blame? Is it the builder or the surveyor in cases like this?
So it depends.
Or the architect?
If it, a lot of things happen at times where people present themselves as surveyors on project sites, until when they get to the nitty-gritty of the job. That's when you now discover that this person that they call the surveyor is actually just somebody who carries poles and tapes and walks around looking for lands to measure, and all that. And they called him a construction surveyor, brought him on board the project. But how you would know a professional, a true professional, is in his charges.
Oh,
yes, it's in his charges.
It cheap or expensive?
Well, the surveyor's charge is actually the cheapest in the built environment. Yes, because surveyors don't charge a percentage, unlike what obtains with other professionals. Like most of our other colleagues charge a percentage of the project or a percentage of the property. But the surveyor's fee is a flat rate, which is in most cases less than 2% of either the value of the land. When it comes to the cost of the value of the project, at times it's not even up to 1% of the cost of the project. So the surveyors is still the least remunerated in the built environment. But the truth is, despite that, we are not after that. What we just want is give us our due recognition. And that's why we have complained a lot about why surveyors are conspicuously excluded on project boards. So you find a project board, you see every other professional in the built environment except the surveyor. And we still don't understand why that is happening. But we hope that in due course.
Well, don't you think it's I would say owing to the fact that there hasn't been enough sensitization, public sensitization, like making people know that, look, these are surveyors. What they do goes beyond measuring lands and carrying tapes and theodolites and all.
Well, that's part of what we're doing with the benchmark, and we hope that people begin to see the need for these recognitions to begin to happen. And we hope that in the coming times.
But do people really patronize surveyors that much?
Yes, people do. Even though a few do at the point of conceptualization. The bulk of the patronage comes when they run into trouble. So somebody has finished building, and then Lapska comes and marks his building, and they ask him for his documentation.
Okay.
And then he rushes, does his architectural, structural drawings, and then goes to present you to Ministry of Fiscal Planning, and I say, where's your survey plan? You're like, I don't have a survey plan. Next thing, he starts calling, do you know any surveyor? Do you know any surveyor? And all that. And then they end up engaging a surveyor when the project is almost completed. So most of the times what we do is damage control, but we are advocating that members of the public should begin to engage surveyors right from the word go. From the point you conceptualize that idea that you want to build, you should engage a surveyor.
Engage a surveyor. Yes. All right, so Bldr Okafor, let me bring you in here. Has there ever been a case where you get inadequate data or reports from a surveyor? How do you go about such cases?
Well,
do you go on with the rest of the project? Or
no. Most of the time, at least my own experience with surveyors, I always get as much information as I need.
Right.
I have never really had insufficient information. Because again,
inadequate measurements and all.
Again, it depends on what you're asking for.
Okay.
Because if you are not asking the right questions, you will not get the right answers. So if you approach a surveyor and you're asking him if you want X, Y, Z, and in reality, what you need is ABC, he's going to give you what you've asked him for.
So is it subject to the type of development that has been proposed?
So it's subject to the kind of development, because there are various requirements. You could have industrial development, which could come in, which would have a different requirement from a residential, from a commercial, from a religious. There are so many kinds of requirements depending on the kind of project that and the scope or size of the project also. Because I tell people, I had funny experiences. You build a house, and then by the time you worked on the external drainage, and you've left the house, and then the first, maybe there's one unusual rainfall that comes in, your client calls you and tells you his house is flooded.
You get that a lot.
Because to a large extent, a lot of drainage systems that we build for our individual projects, notice what I said, individual projects, are just going nowhere. Because you've just done your drainage, but
right in front of your house.
Right in front of your house.
But
where is it going to?
Where's the water coming from?
Where is it? What's your drop points? Is it lower? Is there a inclination? Are you taking the right levels to ensure that within that street, all your surface rainwater, surface runoffs from rain goes to a certain place? So you find that my dear friend says, a lot of damage control, is sets into motion. And as a builder, we're a bit, in that sense, is a challenge, because a lot of the challenges we face are infrastructural. Because if I'm coming to a street to put up a structure,
right,
and I've taken my levels, most of the time what happens is it brings a lot of economics, larger costs to the client. Because when I now know that I don't have control over the drainage of the community, I have to raise the level of my structure,
the foundation
higher, to ensure that no matter what happens, if there's any form of flooding, it will not just get into my site. But you see, at the end of the day, the burden of that cost falls on the owner of the project. Because if things were properly done, if the surveyors were properly engaged, at least in the areas of drainage, flooding, within that community, you'd have reduced the cost of his external works. And then we wouldn't have this burden of, this to build this, to do my external works cost a lot. And a lot of them is due to the fact that we are working with unknown factors that we can't handle, and we just have to tell the client, your foundation has to be taken to this height, your external flooring will have to take it to this height. And he's like, why am I the king of the neighborhood where my building is just it's just 2 floors
on the plot,
on the plot, but it looks like 3 floors within the community, and then that has an effect on his neighbor. Yeah, because now you're taking care of your side, but you have now pushed everything to his own side. So
he's going to bear the burden.
So, like I said, collaboration is mandatory.
Yes,
and we have to get it right from the word go. And again, it has to be communal also. I feel that the effect of surveyors affects the entire community. It's not enough to have a few people within a community, take in the practice, the effects, or get engaged surveyors, and then we have the generality of the community that don't do anything about that, and then we now have a general problem. So
Agwu, what do you have to say in this regard? Collaboration?
Yes,
in a few words.
So there's this
our time is
there's this advice
actually.
I think we've given that a number of times, that we should begin to look at having regional DPC levels that should be adopted by the Ministry of Physical Planning. For instance, if you come to Ikeja, break Ikeja into segments. And then for everybody who is seeking building approval in this particular segment, the Ministry of Physical Planning should issue a design DPC level that must be adopted. And then when they come to inspect that building after construction, they must ensure that that design level is followed, so that we don't just come and then you're building a house and then you're doing your drainage to suit yourself. There was a project site I went to. I argued, even as a surveyor, that drainage was not going to flow because of the way the terrain looked, until I brought a level instrument and I ran the levels and I discovered that they actually did the right job. So what am I saying? Judging by your eyes at times can be very deceptive. So it's not enough to look at the place and say, no, I'm at the highest point, so I'll just do my drain and slope it this way. You can discover that you have actually done a reverse drain. Wow. So by the time you finish and then the rains come, it just gets stuck and your drain is going nowhere.
So what do? It's a must to use the right tools.
Yes. And then if you engage a surveyor to do a drainage for you, and he decides to run topographical survey from the nearest canal, allow him do his job, because he knows what he's doing. So the whole idea is to ensure that your drain goes somewhere, because every drain must discharge somewhere for it to be a drainage.
Bldr, Okafor, in a few seconds, what will be your parting thoughts to our listeners on the program?
Well, my parting thoughts would be engage the right professionals, engage the right professionals to get the right outcomes. There are no shortcuts, there are only the right cuts that you have to take to get what you want. And once you do that, 10 over 10, you're guaranteed of getting your desired outcome or the desired project. There are just no shortcuts. Nobody is in there. There's no profession that is indispensable, or we're all team members. You need everyone to come together. So collaboration should not just come on the professional side.
Right.
The client should ensure that they have the right collaboration on their side for the project to come out
with the right professionals.
With the right professionals.
Just like we have.
It should be selective. It should be selective.
All right. We must go now. Our time is fast spent. I'd love to extend this conversation, but hey, our time is really fast spent. Thank you so much to you two for coming on board the program.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to
Lagos, Nigeria. It's been the bench back, and I've been connecting with my friends in the studio. Surveyor Agwu Ogonna Robert is Publicity Secretary of the Association of Private Practicing Surveyors of Nigeria, Lagos State Branch, and Bldr Chubike Okafor, a proud member of the Nigerian Institute of Building and the Council of Registered Builders. And together, I've been able to look at, surveyors and inter-industry collaboration. I must say a very big thank you to the interns in the studio. Don't know your names, but thank you so much for assisting in production. On behalf of my executive producer, Tayo Akole, the benchmark will come your way next week Friday at exactly 10:15 a.m. Do have yourself a wonderful day. My name is Mike James.